Welcome, Lawrence, to Top Dog Digital Solutions YouTube channel. For all of our listeners, I'll have Lawrence introduce himself, kind of tell a little bit about himself. So let me start with how did you get into the industry? Tell me a little bit about your city, about your company. Give us some background.
So I'm Lawrence, owner of Hippo Hauling, junk removal and demolition. Got into the industry about 4.5 years ago. I was working at the Indiana legislature at the time, and they give me a raise. And like, oh, Lawrence, this is a big raise. You should be happy about this. This is more than anyone else. Congratulations. And I was like, man, I'll never make enough money here in this industry, like the money I want to doing this job. So on the way home, I was just looking at the construction going on in my neighborhood. Like, there's people out here making money doing this stuff. I mean, I'm smarter than them. I could figure it out. And that kind of inspired me to buy my first truck and trailer and says, you know what? I'm starting at the very bottom. I'm removing junk. I'm gonna get this thing figured out. That's how it all started.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you said you work for the Florida. You said you work for the legislature.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. What did you do? What did you do in that? Like, what was your actual day to day?
I assisted in the lawmaking process.
So you assisted in the lawmaking process. Did you work with like just like a local official or like a congressman or anything like that?
So the state senate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. I actually worked for local government prior to getting into the marketing industry. Funny enough, I worked for our tax appraiser. Well, I guess it's a tax collector here in Bay County, but other places they call it tax appraiser. And so I actually was the modern day Matthew, so to speak. I was getting a little biblical. I did property taxes. I actually was the guy who got properties put up for auction based upon property taxes. Yeah, to say the least. But it was a good job. I mean, I liked working with local government, working with the public and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I have a lot of really good friends and long-term relationships that I built through that. But like similar to you, the money just wasn't right. And so I had to make a change, especially for my family. And that's kind of the same story I hear from a lot of people like you is, it's all about your family. You want to go make some more money. So you bet on yourself and then you go get after it.
Yeah. There's two positions in any business. That's either the owner or the employee. And which one do you really want to be?
That's right. Yeah, because the employer, he controls not only the money, but the time aspect of it.
Yeah. And sometimes you're working from, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, and that's just how it is, or 24/7. I mean, it doesn't turn off, but there's those days where you sit around and do nothing, get paid for it. So,
yeah,
the business you have is the business that you grow.
That's right. Yeah, 100%. So what'd you want to do when you were a kid? Was it like, what was your true goal? I'm sure it wasn't junk removal, but.
No. It was an architect. I want to be an architect.
Nice. Well, now you're architecting junk.
So I went to college, got my degrees, and like, I was supposed to be an architect. Like, no one has a job who's an architect right now. That's a bad industry. Don't get into it. Like, okay, I shouldn't do that. So I started pursuing the law, which eventually led to being in the legislature. So
yeah, hey. That's awesome, man. So, and it's crazy. So a lot of people that I talk to, especially like one of the companies that work with us, he's like a mid-20s guy, and his company's doing like $90K a month. And I'm like,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. And it just goes to show you could be young. You don't even have to have a fancy education or anything like that. You just have to have drive and desire to work hard for what you have. And so it's kind of the name of the game. And so kind of tell me about where you guys are now, especially, starting from nothing and then to how'd you get to where you are now, and what kind of revenue are you guys doing?
We're kind of a weird business. We're about 60% demolition, 40% junk removal. So in the beginning, I couldn't support the business doing just one thing. I mean, it started out as me and my dad, hey pops, I'll do the business side, you do the labor, let's figure this thing out. I had an old 96 F Super Duty, big old yeller boy. wood sides. We had a dump bed though, which is great, and that's kind of where it all started at. And do junk removals here and there for different people. Starting out posting things on Craigslist, OfferUp, wherever you can, your local places, printing your stuff off, putting up on apartment complexes. Hey, hire me for your junk removal needs. The bare minimum stuff. Eventually started working toward more and more construction stuff here in Indianapolis. Lots of gentrification happening, and lots of money being spent in the inner city, and that's where we live at. And so I has pulled more and more to the demolition side of things. Like, hey, do you do demolition? Like, sure. What do you need me to do? That shed. Okay, we did a shed. Eventually that shed. Hey, can you do a garage? Yeah, I can do a garage. What does that require? A GC license. Now I'm a licensed GC. Now I'm doing demolishing garages. And that leads to doing like houses like we are right now, and buildings like we are right now. We're a Class C wrecking contractor, licensed by the Indianapolis. That's kind of cool. And live interior demolition as well. So ripping the walls out of houses, and then contractors come in and building stuff afterwards. So that's kind of where we started at with demolition, and that's just really blown up. I mean, the problem with junk removal is it's there's no real barrier to entry. Anybody with the truck can say, "Hey, I'm removing junk now," right? And that's easy to do. I mean, the line you cross eventually is the professionalism, the website, the ratings, your Google my business page, that sort of thing, your reputation around the town. That goes a long way, but a lot of people say, well, whoever's the cheapest, I'm going with. And with demolition, getting your license is a barrier to entry now. There's only so many demolition companies inside Indianapolis, and where do you rank amongst them? So
Yeah.
we try to grow and people. So demolition, you're gonna be, of course, you're a construction company, right?
Yeah.
And in junk removal, you're a service company. So we're combining these two things into one entity and providing exceptional service and professionalism. So that's kind of who we are now.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the thing, there's a lot of fly by night companies that, they're just starting or whatever it is. But then there's also those who are a little bit more shady, so to speak, where they're offering, I don't know, $50 junk removal. But all they do is they'll go up to like I saw on Facebook, there's a junk removal posted in the Facebook group. I don't know if you're a part of those. There's a community of other companies.
I'm involved in a few of those groups. Yeah, I peek in here and there.
And they were telling a story about how they quoted somebody to, I think it was remove a refrigerator off of the 10th floor of a condominium.
Okay.
And they were saying, hey, we'll come remove the refrigerator for $250. And they're like, $250? That's a lot of money. I had somebody quote me $50 to come get this refrigerator. They're like, okay, let me explain. This is what they're going to do. They're probably just going to go up there, go down the elevator, and then just set it by the curb. They're not going to properly dispose of it. They're not going to do what a reputable company is supposed to do in disposing of those sorts of things. And so, but the person was just like, yeah, I'll just go with whoever's cheaper. And it's just like, you have to kind of differentiate yourself and show the value and the professionalism in doing it the right way.
That's right. And there's two people you can never help in this business. That's the poor and the stupid. I mean, if someone's cheap, right? I mean, I can't help you. $50, take your cheapest client. That's great. You're not for me in the first place. You got to find your right customer base, and that takes time.
That's right. Yep. And that comes with, developing your brand and developing your messaging and basically you begin to resonate with your ideal clients to where they start to come to you. And
exactly. Yeah, they want someone professional, not the cheapest option available.
That's right. So then you get to pick and choose who you want to work with, essentially.
That's right, and that's the best feeling in the world.
Absolutely. So,
and otherwise, it's on the barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 30 yards. Yeah, it's just one truckload. Okay, yeah, sure. Give me a quote now before you come see it. No, I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like, we try to educate people as far as like to where they're messaging and they're taking control of the situation for their own business, to where they're the ones going out there and doing the estimate and setting the price, not the customer, right? Because you're the professional. Yeah,
and
but that comes with the territory of learning the trade, and that's why we appreciate having guys like you come onto this show or onto our YouTube channel, to where you can kind of share a little bit of that secret sauce as far as developing your brand to where you can take charge like that, right? And so,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so tell me, how many jobs per week do you typically do?
I mean, for junk removal, I have 2 trucks running between 3 and 5 jobs per day.
Okay.
For demolition, I have about 2 trucks doing 2 jobs a day, maybe, depending. Sometimes there's those bigger interior guts, and you have a truck there, a team of 4 or 5 guys the entire week. So it can range greatly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
That's a pretty good number.
it's not bad. I mean, with junk removal, I mean, you get about between 50 and 60% profit margins, which are great. And it's a lot. You can donate a lot of stuff, which is great. Recycle some stuff, which is great. And you always want to make sure you minimize those dump fees however possible.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys have a lot of like commercial clients?
Yes, that's probably our bread and butter, to be honest with you. I mean, from the beginning, I always sought out different groups, different either business owners or realtors or property management companies. Those are really big.
Mm-hmm.
Contractors, investors. That's where the money's made.
Yep.
They're not bickering about extra $50 for a dump fee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where it's at right there. I mean, there's something wrong with homeowners or finding a good neighborhood that appreciates that kind of service. I mean, that happens all the time as well, but we've always pursued those commercial clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it, I mean, and this is what we like to try to explain to people, is it just takes you reaching out and asking. So, that's it. You can just give them a call. I mean, if you're too afraid to give them a call, I mean, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Yeah, you might have
the world, but if no one knows about it, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I was walking on job sites like, "Hey, I'm Lawrence. I do demolition. How'd you get here?" Like, I mean, be brave, man. Email everybody, call who you can. I mean, it's your business. You can grow as much as you take it. That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. This is a really good tip for people that watch this. Go on Google and just type in realtors near me. Seriously, right. That's all you got to do. It's going to show up on a map pack, and then just go down the list. Send them a text message one after another. Hey, would you like us to be a referral partner? If or do you have a property that you're trying to sell that needs junk removed? Something like that. A lot of times, yeah, of course, realtors are always looking for referrals all the time. So that's a good relationship that you can create there. And then if they have a property that they're trying to sell, that they're trying to get that junk out as quickly as possible. So they'll say, yes, can you come today?
Exactly. If someone says that phrase there, can you come today? That's a charge.
Yeah.
Not urgency. You've added to the price now, right?
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yep. Exactly. So tell me a little bit, how do businesses hear about you? So is it more organic, or do you do paid advertising? What do you do?
Yeah, we're almost about 95% organic, I think, for the most part. I mean, nice. Some yard sign for sure. We do a good job. Put that yard sign out there. We did this. We're proud of this job. Our customer has our back on this. I mean, really, it's just reaching out to like different groups, like on Facebook, all those realtor groups, all those investor groups. I mean, sending our resume out to all those various construction companies across Indianapolis. I mean, make sure they know who we are. Following up with phone calls and emails. Just getting all out there, man.
Yeah,
it's simple stuff, man. It's not even expensive.
Yeah. And this is the thing. A lot of business owners don't emphasize the organic aspect, especially with Google My Business. That is such an important part of it. Yeah, costs you nothing, and you can make thousands of dollars a month just by putting simple before and after photos on there, and making sure that you get a review after every job. That's
a tough thing, man. Sometimes we can demo an entire house. That's one review. We do 4 or 5 junk removals one day with one truck. That's 4 or 5 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty democratized there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know about you, but like whenever I go and look for a service or a restaurant or anything like that, like I heavily emphasize reviews. So if there's, if a company has, let's say 10 reviews at 4.5 stars, and then there's a company with 50 reviews at 4.8 stars, I'm going to go with the 50 reviews pretty much 99% of the time. And so, yeah, so gathering those reviews is such a huge portion of it. So how do you typically do it? Is it right after you finish the job, you ask them to give you a review?
Absolutely, man. He gives a review. Great. Can we put a yard sign in your front yard? Cool.
Yep.
I mean, you're there to please, right? Make sure you go above and beyond. We done with the junk removal in the garage, sweep it all up. Great. Hey, so while we're here, any other spaces in your house or out back that needs swept real quick? Oh, absolutely. We'll do that as well. This once you're there, spend extra 10, 15 minutes really showing people how professional you are, how thorough you are as a company.
Yep. Yep. 100%. So I guess just for the people that are watching that might have just started their company, they don't quite know what to do. They're kind of trying to get their feet wet. They're figuring it out. What are just some obstacles that you've had to overcome that maybe you want others to know about so that they can avoid those as well?
Avoid those phone calls from those, hey, Google listing agents. Well, we can make your company #1 listed on Google right now. No, you can't. You're full. No, I don't think so. There are scams out there for you. I mean, making your website, right? SEO, that's the long-term commitment. Do your research, get involved in these groups, find the person making a great website for junk removal companies who know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I use Mario. He's from the West Coast. He does an outstanding job.
Mm-hmm.
Before him, I had 2 other companies that I wasted money on for 2 years. I wasn't ranking at all. Now you go Indianapolis, Google, demolition Indianapolis, we're top 3. Junk removal Indianapolis, we're top 3 or 4, I think. So
Very nice.
I mean, just you gotta know what you're doing here, man. And that's the long-term game is your SEO, is your website.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be cheap about that. People want someone cheap. I mean, you buy cheap, you're going to get cheap. Kind of run into a lot of problems that way.
Yep.
So having a solid website is important. Take lots of pictures. Make sure you're always smiling. You're your buddy. Hey, I love doing junk removal. Post the pictures. I mean, just look like you're having a good time. People really appreciate that. Don't waste money on stupid things. Don't if you have a 2001 F350 with 200,000 miles, don't put a lot of money in that truck. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't try to buy a dump bed for it. Don't try to buy middle sides and swinging gates. I mean, use that truck for what it is, and then get out of it when you can. Money maker for sure, but don't try to sink a lot of money in that thing. When I've been in high school and want to buy like the nice spinning rims or whatever, buy a car with cloth seats and install custom leather seats. Yeah, don't do that, man. You gotta get away from it. Just use that truck for what it is, accept for what it is, make your money, move on. I mean, the ultimate goal is to have a solid brand, but everyone starts somewhere. I mean, the first Ram 1500 I bought, it blew up. This is how it is, man.
Yeah.
Image is really important. Arrive on site smiling with your uniform on. Don't have a guy on there has some random T-shirt on. That's never helpful.
That's something that a lot of people don't. I mean, having consistency as far as your brand goes, like that is super important. That is super important.
Make that customer happy. Make that customer thrilled that he called you.
Yes.
Don't sell yourself short. But if you can, like, hey, I have a couple bricks out back, you toss them in there as well. Like, well, I was here for a garage clean out, but a couple bricks or cinder blocks or maybe a small trash can or whatever. Yeah, throw it in there real quick. They'll appreciate that. It goes the extra mile. That way, when that view pops up, wow, Lawrence really went above and beyond this way. Another thing people don't take advantage of is when they make mistakes, right? I mean, we've all been in these positions where maybe you've backed into a mailbox or doing demo and you break a window by accident. And we did that last week. I mean, I took that window, got it fixed, paid the extra $80. Customer was thrilled. Wow, this happened. Yeah, it happened. But guess what? This is ready to get. We fixed everything for you, so it's not a big deal. So you made a mistake, which you admit to that. People appreciate when they say, "Hey, I messed up," but also I corrected it. It's being a man of your word. Everybody makes mistakes, and people understand that. When you do, make sure you correct it.
Yeah, that's the same thing with us. Like we make a mistake or we do something that costs somebody money or whatever like that. We do everything that we can to make it right. Like that's the key. Make it right. And even if you make that mistake, they'll still come back to you and trust you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've had mistakes in the past. People come right back like, "Hey, you're still the best."
Yep.
This is how it is.
Yeah. So get a little bit more personal, I guess, before we go, tell me, I mean, tell me, what are some obstacles that you face personally? Like, what are some things that in the beginning that you were like, man, I don't even know how I'm gonna overcome this?
Oh man, having no real balance in my life, right? Just nonstop working, do the Senate stuff all day, come home, do this. I
Mm.
mean, waking up at 5 a.m. to dump the load at the landfill early so you can make it to your job on time as well. And driving, I mean, selling my vehicle to have my full time vehicle to have buy a dump truck is that's going to make me money. You know what I'm saying? Like the nice car, the nice Lexus you're all around in, that's fine, but it doesn't have a dump bed. So can you really make money with that? So understand the long term goal of this. I
Mm.
mean, fully invest in your business. Realize that the nice fancy things don't bring you money; they cost you money.
That's right.
So giving up those things is what that's important. Um, Finding good guys. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are going to take advantage of you. That's terrible as well.
Yeah.
That's important. Finding good guys right now for good pay is everyone across the board struggles with that.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
From me to all the way to the Ford Motor Company, it's so over the place.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing, so this shirt right here, I have part ownership in this construction company called Gold Center Construction. And that's one of the things, like, seriously, we have a lot of people just like in and out every week. I go to a job site and it's somebody different. I'm like, where did Kyle go? Oh, where did Jeff go? Oh, they're in jail. Or, oh, they just didn't show up today. Or, oh, whatever. It's just like, yeah, finding good work. And once you do, make sure they're paid well and they're taken care of.
Don't be cheap. I mean, absolutely. I mean, when I got off the truck and started helping my pops, I mean, back in 2020, it happened. My pops passed away. I broke my leg, and I'm sitting at home working from home, trying to figure out my future here. Am I going to give this business up? Am I done with this thing? Was this a failed experiment? I mean, I doubled down, jumped on YouTube, figured out how to market, figured out how to make a business, what proper trucks work for junk removal, what doesn't work. I mean, educate yourself. The biggest school in the world is YouTube, and it's free. Investors, instead of going home and watching HBO or Netflix or whatever, watch YouTube. I
Mm.
mean, figure out, there's other people out there like you, how they made it.
Yeah.
It's not like a remarkable thing. Education can take you so far. I
Mm.
mean, get out there and figure it out.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's so many free resources out there, like on YouTube and stuff like that. They're invaluable. You don't have to go to school and spend $50,000 for a degree to learn skills. There's stuff out there that you can get for free that are right at your fingertips. Don't spend so much time on things that that cost money or are a waste of time. Put in the work. Get the education from those that are experts that are putting out that free content, and man, it goes miles.
It does. I mean, another big thing is just kind of admitting where you are in life. Like, hey, I'm an office worker making, $55,000 a year. I mean, I'm young enough, but don't do this the rest of my life. This is where my degrees have gotten me. I mean, you got to admit, to have a hard conversation with yourself. Is this it? I mean, is this going to be the end for me, or am I going to take a risk? I'm turning 30, so I'm got to take a risk. Let's see if we can make a business happen. And what does that look like? So that's a thing. Another big thing is having the right tools. I think the right tools make your job a lot easier. I mean, for junk removal, it's pretty simple, maybe a Sawzall or something like that. But if you get into more construction, and buy the right brand, take care of your stuff, stay organized as well. I mean, make sure those trucks can fully equipped. I mean, my trucks have little mini generators in them, ladders, batteries for Sawzalls, and rotary hammers. Make sure you have everything you need right there in that truck. Or what job you're facing, you're prepared for it. There should be little tool tanks as well as dumpsters.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, man. I think we're reaching the end of our time together. Where can we find you online? What platforms are you on? Are you on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that?
Facebook and Instagram, hippohauling.com, of course. Yeah, social media. That's what I need to buy next. A social media manager right now. I'm no better, man. The Insta chat, the Facey pages. I mean, I'm not great at it. I'm doing great. It's just not for me, man. I'm a relationships guy.
That's awesome. Old school. I love it. But all right, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on this evening and sharing a little bit about your wisdom and a little bit about where you came from and where you are and how you got here.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for reaching out.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later.
Later, man.